Back with you on Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta. We ask you to head over to youtube.com, subscribe to our YouTube page, 1,700 subscribers strong. Thank you so much for being a part of our growing community. When you find it, put that in your search browser, find it, and then subscribe. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. We can also be found on all of your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. When you find us, leave us a 5-star review. And, of course, follow me on my personal Twitter page at JMCH316. What's the old song lyric? The Braves have 99 problems and their lineup ain't one. You know, one of the things about the Atlanta Braves, oh, by the way, too, let me just, and I don't, mean to pat myself on the back or brag or anything like that. And when I told you about they got a hit with runners in scoring position, okay, first 50 games of the year, 231 with runners in scoring position on this current 11-game winning streak. Don't tell anybody, but 327. So I'm not saying I told you so. I would never do that. One thing you'll learn about me is I wouldn't pat myself on the back, tell you I told you so. Remember when I told you to circle June 2nd on your calendar? Remember that? Remember when I said, hey, go in there and circle June 2nd on your calendar, and it's June 13th right now, and I told you at June 17th, we'll look back over this thing, and could the Braves be 11-2, minimum 10-3, peak at 11-2? They might be 13-0 when all is said and done. And I told you about the fact that they should get 4-6. Anyway, again, I don't want to pat myself on the back or anything like that because my arm is kind of sore and my shoulder's a little tired. But anyway, the Braves right now have first world problems. Think back a month ago to when we were trying to figure out Olsen struggling, Ozzie struggling, Dansby was okay, Riley struggling, Ozuna struggling, Duvall in a funk. The bench hadn't done a whole lot. Darno was okay. Now this lineup has caught fire, and now this team is hitting and playing like we expected them to, and now they're playing like a World Series champion. It's caused the Braves to have a great problem. They have too many good bats right now, and they have too many guys. Darno, Olsen, Ozzie, Dansby, Riley, Ozuna, Duvall, Ronnie, Contreras, Michael Harris. Oh, yeah, don't forget that they have guys like Eddie Rosario that's out and hurt right now. And kind of funny, Rosario obviously had the eye surgery and things like that. We don't get any sort of timetable whatsoever about his return because, be honest with you, while it'd be nice to have another left-handed bat, Braves really aren't hurting right now for offense. And this is a first world problem to have if you're the Atlanta Braves, is that your manager has to figure out night to night who to put in, who to sit, who to keep in. And I say this because, when you have this many guys, this is an ideal situation because you do have some guys that you want to try to give a night off. Now, look, I don't want Ronnie's bat out of the lineup, but, Duvall can sit a night. Ozuna can sit a night if you need to. A guy can sit a night here. We saw Ozzie sit. That's a good thing for this team. I do think that having enough guys that you can mix and match. Look, I said this a week or so ago or a couple of weeks ago now. Hey, I want to see Contreras catch on a regular basis. Well, they have a situation where they have two guys that they can feel comfortable about playing at catcher and even DH Contreras because his bat is so good that you can give one of the other guys a night off and your lineup doesn't suffer. With all due respect to, Heredia and Arcia, and those guys have done some nice things. If you look at some of the numbers, with Heredia and Arcia, Arcia is hitting almost 300 this year, and those guys have all had some big hits. You don't feel as good about having to put some of those guys in the lineup as you do say, okay, well, I can catch Contreras tonight, or I can let Contreras be a DH, or I can do this, or I can do that. Because you do have some guys that you feel like you pretty much can keep in your lineup every day. Right now, Michael Harris plays every single day. With all due respect, he's a 22-year-old kid who's just up in the big leagues. Ain't no reason to sit him right now. And if Ronnie is available to play in the field, you play him every day in right field if you can. If he's not, you make sure you DH him. So he's one of the bats that stays in your lineup. Outside of that, you got guys that you can shuttle in. You want to give Olsen a day off? Who, to be honest with you, Olsen probably is an everyday player himself. But you do have a lot of flexibility right now in this lineup. And that's the great thing for the Atlanta Braves is you don't have to overwork your catcher. You don't have to overwork your left fielder. That was one of the things about Duvall that I was saying is like, man, give the guy a day off. I mean, I think definitely part of his offensive struggles were tied into he's having to play center field. He's being a starting center fielder every single day. Every day you're starting Adam Duvall in center field. And he's a 33-year-old guy that, say what you will about, what that means in the real world. In baseball world, that is old. And asking him to play day in, day out, play a full game is going to wear on you. And I think you saw the effects at him being in the lineup. So for Snitker to be able to have guys that they can mix and match in this lineup and be able to sit a guy here and give guy a day off here, that's only going to pay dividends, in the long run. When we start talking about getting to September, October, that's where those dividends are going to pay off, is you were able to give guys a day off here and a day off there without sacrificing. I mean, with all due respect to Manny Pena, okay, he's the ultimate just punch and Judy, just can of corn hitting kind of guy. Yeah, you put him in to sub for d'Arnaud or Contreras. He's got an 0 for 4 stamped on his forehead. By and large, you're not going to get a whole lot of them. So you're going to have a spot in your lineup that looks like it's the hole of a donut, except that it's the size of a hole in a tire. Now you look at catcher and you say, okay, it doesn't matter if I have Contreras or d'Arnaud back there. I ain't losing anything offensively. And Contreras isn't Mike Piazza behind home plate. I mean, it's not like that, it's not like that he's dropping every pitch or anything like that. You're okay. I mean, is Pena a better defense catcher? Yeah, but you don't have to sacrifice his bat. And if I got to play Ozuna or Duvall or somebody in left field, okay, I don't have to give up much of anything there. All right. And I think that's the great thing about the Atlanta Braves now is so many different guys are catching fire. So many different guys are hot right now that it's given Snit a lot of flexibility. And again, it's a first world problem. I have too many good bats to get into my lineup. And I don't have to sit anybody for an extended period of time. I don't have to necessarily play somebody, overplay them, or overwork them. Like Duvall, I don't have to overwork him now. I've got Ronnie pretty much playing right field every day, and I've got Michael Harris, who is going to play center field every day. So I can either DH Duvall, I can play him in left, I can give him a day off, and I don't feel like I lose a whole lot. Okay, I sit him for a day. I'll let Ozuna, play left field, and I'll let Contreras DH. Or I'll let Duvall DH, and I can play Ozuna in left, or whatever. Whatever combination, it's a good thing for Snitker to have right now and fill out that lineup card. These are fun times for the Atlanta Braves. And by the way, this is not going to end anytime soon for the Braves. They have 3 with the god-awful Nats, and then they play 3 with the horrible Chicago Cubs before they get the Frisco, Dodger, Philadelphia group out of all of there. So Braves have some first world problems as they're 11 games in a row now and don't look to end that anytime soon. All right, we thank you so much for being a part of this show today. Thanks for making the Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery your first listen. Make sure you make my friends Jarvis Davis and Tanitra Batiste your second listen. ATL Day Ones is the podcast you want to listen to, talking about the heart of all things in the city of Atlanta, all of your different franchises here. They're always having a great conversation over there. They are free and available on our YouTube page, Locked On Sports Atlanta. Subscribe to that. You can also find them on your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, Odyssey, whatever. You give us a 5-star review of all the podcasts there. And want you to follow me on my personal Twitter page. That would be at JMCH316. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back tomorrow. It's Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.